Just so good against Zerg.
Yeah, the Protoss brothership is out and about and moving around the map and sucking up, or it's just increasing its mana, and that will really come in handy later on in the game. There's a lot of things you can do with the mothership.
Recall or Vortex are both great.
And it's just good for cloaking your units in general. Forces the Zerg to keep a bunch of Overseers with his army, and you can snipe those Overseers with Flame Stalkers. It looks like Haypro's going to try and come in here and deny the fourth. All these cannons warping in at the perfect time for the Protoss. I mean, that was just really pinched right there, and he dropped the Vortex right in the middle of Haypro's
That hurts all those corruptors.
And the mothership gets down to 4 hit points.
He should pull that back because there's still a lot of corruptors in there. But yeah, Haypro, that was one of his big mistakes right there. He waited on 200 too long to trade. He wouldn't have fought with those cannons there. He wouldn't have fought with a couple of Colossus there. He wouldn't have fought with a mothership there if he traded it right when he got max. But so he's paying the price here, but he'll be able to re-macro out of this. And I'd want to see him to, once he has that mothership tech, he's gonna have to, you know, tech into either ultras, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do, or broodlords fast. But
the Protoss is finally getting his 3-3 upgrades going. His attack 3 is about to finish, and he keeps losing all these high tech units. But what Haypro needs to do is he needs to keep trading efficiently. He's not trading right now.
Look at that money.
Or remaxing quick enough. I think he's worried too much about...
I don't know if he even has the larva to remax fast enough. I don't know if he's hitting all of his injects, but either way, he should be remaxing pretty much instantly.
He's got the money for it. He should have the hatches for it, but it was really
too this late. I don't know if I agree with all those Zerglings. They're good against Stalkers, but they can't shred it so fast as possible.
Yeah, Zerglings later on in the game probably are not the way to go. They definitely do get shredded in the late game, and it was really critical that Haypro wasn't able to stop this fourth, because this position right here is so important. It's allowing him to get his 5th, and it's allowing him to just have a stronghold right here on this side of the map. And had Haypro pushed in a little bit earlier and traded a little bit earlier, I think he would have been able to stop that fourth from going up, and that would have been a really important position.
Would have given him tempo for sure. And at this point, he's just going straight into the toss ball. It looks like maybe I'd like to see a backstab on his heart, on all this production down at the toss is natural. But you know, he's decided to go in. He's gonna get a pretty decent trade here, killing all those Colossus, which is nice. But at this point, you know, I don't know if it's very efficient. He's up on a base right now, which is good, and the income, you know, I think it's gonna be in the Zerg favor. Oh, not quite. He's actually mined out 2 of his bases. Same with the Toss, but Toss still has more probes than Haypro has drones, and it's like he's gonna come in for a push here, and it's gonna be hard to fight off. He has so many corruptors here that aren't doing much. He can spit on these stalkers, you know, get them a little weaker, but in the end, you need a bigger ball of Roach and Hydra, I think.
One thing that I would have loved to have seen this game from either player is a little bit of harass on the main or the exterior bases. Like, I think Haypro could have definitely afforded to get a Nidus or drop tech and continually harass this 5th over here and drop, just send speedlings or banelings or whatever, roaches, hydras, it doesn't even matter. You can shut that down, you can kill a lot of probes, and then vice versa. The Protoss could have gotten the warp prism, started harassing the tech buildings at the main, or harassed the 5th with DTs. Yeah,
DTs are a nightmare for Zerg at this late game. You just warp in 7 DTs, send them to each of the bases. You know, it's going to be a lot for the Zerg to deal with, and there's pretty much no way that you can't come out effectively with that kind of strat. But yeah, I would love to see some Overlord speed and Overlord drop come to play, because now what he's doing, he's trying to push this stronghold that this Protoss has made on the right side of the map at his 4th. But I think he should really be trying to split the Protoss army, you know, go poke in at his infrastructure, kill all those gateways he had as his natural, and you know, just try to keep the Toss on his back feet. But at this point, the Toss is able to just roam across the map. He's not getting pressured, and he's just going to be able to snipe that hatch for sure if he wants to. And you know, it's just putting the Zerg on the back. He's setting the tempo. So, and there's a recall out. Wow, that's nice. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good play right there. He just snipes the 5th and recalls all of his stalkers out, keeping them alive. A bunch of them were corrupted, and there's a huge army moving in that was about to. There's a huge army moving in that was about to clean all those stalkers up. So he manages to get the 5th and keep all the stalkers alive. It's a great trade for him. And one thing Haypro did is he kept, while keeping all these corruptors alive was great. He has so much supply tied up in his corruptors right now that it's really making these battles towards the latter end of the game really go in the Toss's favor. Toss just has this gigantic ball of gateway units. He has like 1 Colossus right now. So, and he's also keeping the Colossus like way in the back, so it's making these corruptors a lot less effective. But he's more of the Brood Lords.
I like the Brood Lords. He could have gotten those a little earlier, though, I think, and it would have helped some of those pushes, especially to siege out those cannons. And the Toss chooses to hit at the perfect time here. It's half his armies on the ground, half of the Overlords, and the Brood Lords aren't even done yet. So that is just really rough for Haypro right now. The Toss is just going to clean this up. I don't even know if he's going to be able to get that Nemesis. He has to fall back from all these Brood Lords. So Haypro's still in this, but every single one of these trades has kind of gone in the Toss favor, at least as far as like the past 4 battles or so.
Oh man!
And he just misses the next. He's down to 64 hit points. That's a rough. That's another. Things aren't going Haypro's way this game, really. He had a really good opening, but it's looking kind of rough for him right now. But we'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very unfortunate set of circumstances. He's getting a bunch of overseers right now.
Spawn Infinity Zerglings, which really isn't going to do anything against the Toss ball. But
yeah, I don't see Zerglings helping out a lot. But what Haypro likes to do is he likes to use these Zerglings to flank for the Brood Lords and trap all the stalkers while Brood Lords just annihilate them. And it usually works out really well, but that vortex right there.
Catches all of the Zerg air with that vortex, and that, my friends, is a good game. If you get a vortex like that, it's gonna do. You can just camp under you with about Infinity Stalkers and just kill all your Brood Lords right as they pop out. So that is another very good, well-used vortex. And in the late game, I feel like the Protoss needs the Mothership out to be really effective.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Short of having all of your Brood Lords like perfectly spread out, having your Corruptors spread out as well, which you probably aren't going to be cognizant of in the late game. But it's just something you should definitely be aware of if there's a Mothership out. You should be real careful about how you stack your units, and that right there is pretty much sealed the deal for Haypro. There's really no way for him to recover from this.
Yeah. Now he's just losing both of his only mining bases, whereas the Toss still has 2 mining bases, taking his gold, so it's, it was a good fight from Haypro. Made a few mistakes early game, a few mistakes in the late game, but overall, he macroed really well, and, it just wasn't quite enough for that few unlucky draws, but it happens.
This Protoss player obviously has experience with the Mothership too. He used the Mothership very well in the late game twice, and I think that's really what I wanted to do. So the Mothership is indeed a very powerful unit with very powerful abilities. You don't see it that much. It's really expensive. It takes a long time to build, but they're still really freaking good.
Yeah, fits it with his play of macro Toss very well. He's able to just sit back, macro up, take 4 or 5 bases, and when you're at that many bases, you have enough money to get a Mothership, so good thing.
Haypro exhausted his trust fund, and GG's, because there's really nothing he could do. Even though he had a huge advantage for pretty much that entire game as far as econ is concerned, you just really can't let the Protoss sit back and max out with that 200 ball with strong upgrades and a Mothership, and a few Colossus here and there, a couple Void Rays. It was really, I think, just a lack of, like you mentioned earlier, he could have hit the main, gone after some of the production. He could have, I think he could have Nidused at a few different locations, especially like the 5th over here in the dark. Maybe done some drops. whatever. You have to do something to avoid confronting the Protoss death ball head on. And if you can afford to do it and you can afford to throw away units and trade if you're on 4 or 5 base, like I think you need to do that as often as possible.
Right when you get max Zerg and you're macroing hard, you had a good advantage, and the toss was maybe at 150 or so, 160, maybe even 170. But if he trades right then, he'll be able to remax the 200 off top, and the toss is gonna you can't remax as fast as toss, so you have to really abuse that with Zerg.
All right, that'll do it for that one. Later, guys. Catch you later.
Yeah.